Evening, everyone. We are going to be talking about Jump Step 3 in continuing our book series of Jump and Your Life Will Appear. And tonight, our topic is a topic that I just absolutely love completely, and it's called Imagine Yourself Free. And actually, just an FYI, a hint, the monthly class for September is going to be around this fun topic on how you can really dive into using your imagination to create your reality. It's a new concept for a lot of people, but it is a super, super powerful one that's backed up by neuroscience and so many different areas of study: quantum physics, neuroscience, almost any sports people who are practicing sports, playing professional sports, are using these techniques about using their imagination to create their reality. So tonight, it's all about jumping by using your imagination to imagine yourself free. The reason this works is because our brain works off of the blueprint that we've given it, or that it's seen its entire life. So whatever it's seen, when you think about the patterns that your parents exemplified, the patterns that you've grown up doing, that's the blueprint that your brain has. And then when you want to do something new and create change, all it has is that one blueprint. So now we have to give it a new blueprint. It's very, very simple on the logistics. So hi Judy, thanks for joining. We're talking about Jump Step 3 tonight. So in the book, she quotes Brene Brown, says, "Momentary discomfort is better than long-term resentment. So much of the time we would rather stay small and imprisoned rather than face uncertainty of becoming who we are meant to be." So that is very, very true. When you think about resentments are a key of finding areas of our life where we still have things yet to be explored. Resentments come with keeping our dreams under wraps. And that might be a life sentence, she says. It's when we slip into our comfort zone. In order to stay there, we have to slip into denial and numb out. So you'll see many people using different coping mechanisms when they're not honoring their true selves. That is when things like addiction happen. And addiction can be everything from the drinking to drugs to shopping to eating to actually worry and fear are addictions as well. So we can use all of those coping mechanisms as kind of to numb ourselves from the pain of not connecting to our authentic soul. So and often one of the things that we've become addicted to is people pleasing, trying to make sure that the other people in our life have we're helping them out or providing everything that they need. And that is a super form of people pleasing that becomes a way to where you don't really have to explore and acknowledge who you are because you're too busy taking care of everybody else. And Nancy Levins says, "I kept jumping through hoop after hoop in order to receive recognition and earn a gold star, but no amount of gold stars was ever enough." So I did this in my own life. I was a perfectionistic student. It was the only way that I could see to get recognition from the adults in my world. I didn't recognize it back then, but I recognize that now. So I was a 4.0 student all the way through high school and college, with the exception of badminton. I got a B in badminton in college. Isn't that hysterical? A class crazy to even took. So, but that was my way of trying to get attention and recognition. It was the only safe way that I could actually get attention and recognition. So and also that extreme trying, when we're trying so hard to be perfect, we're trying so hard to please other people. That is a form of prison for us. It's like it's like this never-ending vacuum, because in our mind we think, well, if we just try hard enough, we'll achieve some level of recognition or whatever, but there's no amount of that actually fills us up, and that can then contribute to us being a workaholic, a pleaseaholic, where we're so busy doing things for other people that we don't have time to do anything for ourselves, and we don't see the value of fun. Okay, so this is what I'm still working on in my own life. You guys have probably heard me talk about this, but and so Nancy says, freedom involves play. For so long I had been so responsible and so hell-bent on people-pleasing that I didn't have much appreciation or reverence of fun. I thought play was a waste of time, and that people who engaged in it were lazy or not on a serious path. I've since learned that play is actually vital in healing. What about you? She says, do you allow yourself to let go and have fun? Or are you using obligation to shelter yourself? What could you do today to invite more joy into your life? Cool questions. I'm going to answer those for myself lately, because I still can invite another new level of fun in. So then she talks about re-envisioning your life, and how we tend to be afraid of the unfamiliar, which we perceive the unfamiliar as this chaotic, fearful place that disaster is going to happen. That is what our mind says, that if we are going to make a change, then it goes to the worst case scenario about everything that could go wrong, all the fears that could happen, the what ifs. And I can guarantee you that what your mind imagines is way worse than the pain of what the reality would actually be in making that change. So that's where our imagination comes in, because if we can begin seeing that change in our imagination, then we begin to get more comfortable with it step by step. Okay, so let's use something a little bit more neutral than relationships. So let's imagine that you're going to become a person who likes to jog. Okay, now you don't jog, you've never jogged before, but you decide you're going to become a person who likes to jog. So you can imagine yourself getting your running shoes on. Maybe imagine yourself going to the store and buying some running shoes, and you imagine yourself putting your running shoes on. Then you imagine yourself maybe taking a tutorial on how to stay healthy while you run, and how to work up. I one time did a program called Couch to 5K, so maybe you explore something like Couch to 5K, and you're just seeing yourself in your mind doing all of these things until you see yourself actually going out and running a lap on the local track. And then maybe you see yourself running 2 laps on the local track, and running 3 laps. And the more you imagine yourself doing this, the more it gives your brain that blueprint for this new reality. So you don't actually have to make the leap or the transition until you're totally comfortable with what that looks like, because you've played it over and over in your mind so many times. So what does your freedom look like? I'm going to go over the journal questions that she recommends in the book here. So the first one, it says, I had to anesthetize myself emotionally to some degree in order to stay in the life that wasn't working for me. I was attached to an identity that put me in a box. So it says, review your character description from step 1. So if you did day 1, and then write down your answers. So where in my life do I feel constricted? Where do I need more freedom in my life? What ways has my current identity put me in a box? What restrictions do I feel as a result of the identity I put out into the world? Okay, and question 2 is, how does not being free serve you? Because there's always a payoff or a payback for something about being free. When a payoff of everything that we're doing that keeps us stuck, there's something we're getting out of it. So the benefits of payoffs I receive from staying bound in my current situation are, okay, that's a journal question. These benefits or payoffs allow me to avoid, and then without these benefits or payoffs, I would be free to whatever. Okay. Question number 3 is, if you allow yourself to be free, you will have to give up these benefits. What fears come up when you think of letting go of them? If I were free, I am afraid to what? Okay. There's all sorts of things that can fill in these blanks. And then 4 is, when we push aside parts of ourselves that we don't like or that frighten us, it takes a lot of energy. And what we push away only becomes stronger and more insistent. So I don't know if you guys have heard this. It's one of the favorite sayings that I have. If you listen to me long enough, you'll hear me say it. What you resist persists, and what you embrace, you can erase. So the more you push away the parts of you, the more it gives them energy to be obnoxious, really, and not work together. So it's important to honor and integrate all of these parts of ourselves, because when we accept them, they no longer need our attention so much. What parts of you have you shut off? What parts of you are longing to be expressed? Freedom means learning to love the totality of who we are, both the scary parts and the good parts. So, who would you be if you were no longer living a life that you feel is acceptable and safe? That's question number 5. Question number 6 is, what is required for you to imagine yourself free? In order to be free, I must let go of, and in order to be free, I must change blank. Now, the final question that you're going to journal on is, what does freedom mean to me? And then in each chapter of the book, she ends with a moment to forgive. And so it's important to honor where you've been and even honor the fears that have kept you restricted. Those fears developed during childhood, and their job was to protect you. The problem is that they protect you too well once you're an adult. So you can take a moment to forgive the parts of you that have worked hard to protect you and now have inadvertently held you back. As you begin to disengage their stronghold, they will try hard to keep you in check. Rather than meet these parts of you with anger, meet them with compassion. Beautiful. Okay, so that is the step number 3 for Jump and Your Life Will Appear. And if you're enjoying this, I would invite you to consider registering for the monthly class that will be held August 25th. There is a charge for that class. You can look at the events in description in the group here to see the description of that event. But you'll get 2 additional lessons, and then you will get an in-depth coaching, group coaching session where all that we're going to be talking about there is going to be, how do you move past the illusion of fear and take the action for the next leap into life that you need to take. So thanks for being here tonight. I'll see you next time for step 4. Bye-bye.